This is the AHSAA Weekly, an inside look at all things going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we will visit with Terry Curtis of UMS Wright Prep High School in Mobile for our Central Board Spotlight. He is the representative on the Central Board of Control from District 1. Also, Alvin Briggs from the Alabama High School Athletic Association will be along to tell us about a brand new girls sport that will be introduced this fall. We will also visit with Kim Kill, principal of Pelham High School in Shelby County, to talk about the effects of the devastating tornado they had in the Pelham area just a couple of weeks ago. We also have a couple of Wilson Ball Grant volleyball participants. We'll have some video of both of those recipients from both North and South Alabama. And also coming up this week, it's David Holzford's Highlights. We'll take you around the state of Alabama for video highlights of spring sports from across the state and a special tribute to one of the coaching legends that passed away this week in Alabama high school history. We're talking about legendary former Luverne coach Glenn Daniel. All of that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. Ox Foundation Solutions will come up with the right fix for you. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong.
This week on the AHSAA Weekly, we have another Central Board Spotlight. It's shining on District 1 Representative Terry Curtis of UMS Wright Prep High School in Mobile.
UMS Wright's Terry Curtis has earned a reputation as one of the greatest high school football coaches in state history, thanks to 323 victories and 8 state championships.
The thing that I guess I'm the proudest of is the consistency of it. It has shown through the years that my system works, the way we practice, the way we prepare, the way we scheme, the way we work, the way we do our whole program. In 22 years at UMS, 20 of those years we've gone to at least the third round of the playoffs, and that's shown that we've been, not that we've won it every year, but we have been there and had a chance just about every year of the 22.
Curtis spent 16 years as an assistant coach before becoming a head coach, and he credits that time for molding his unique style. Maybe it's why he also prides himself on not being a micromanager. Letting
your people do their job, and you can call it not being a micromanager and those sort of things. I believe in letting them coach. I believe in letting them do their job. And, we talk about it and we discuss on Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays. But once we get on the field, I think I've done a good job of letting these guys coach their people because I remember when I was an assistant coach and I wanted to coach my people, and kind of upset me when when the head coach would jump in my group or whatever and start doing some other stuff. So, if I had to say that, that'd be my biggest thing as far as my management style is letting people do their job.
Curtis, the son of a Baptist preacher, says coaching is his calling. He recently finished his 48th season coaching football in the Mobile area, including the last 22 as head football coach at UMS. He has also been a member of the AHSAA Central Board for the last 6 years.
It's been unbelievable. It's been, I guess the word would be eye-opening. Some of the things that we've had to deal with, I'm not going to say it's all been easy or it's all been fun, but I do think we have always made the decisions in the best interest of the student athletes. And I think that's what our job is to not make the rules, but to make sure the rules are followed. And I know that Coach Savarese and the board have been very, very diligent in making sure that this happens.
We take you to the Alabama High School Athletic Association offices in Montgomery. Associate Executive Director of the AHSAA, Alvin Briggs, joins us. Alvin, good evening. Glad to have you with us again this week. And I know we've got some exciting news because we have a brand new sport that has never been played in the Alabama High School Athletic Association that has been certified, ratified, whatever, approved, and it is coming this fall. Tell us all about it.
Yes, John, we're having to start girls flag football here in the state. The board in January approved us to look in it, and hopefully with the help of the NFL, the National High School of Federation of High Schools, and with the Atlanta Falcons, we'll be able to pursue girls flag football this fall.
Tell us about how this idea came about. Kind of take us through the process of making this from an idea to reality.
Well, you know, it's an idea and a reality that came from the National Federation and the NFL, the partnership that we have with them in regular football. So in order to keep the interest up in football, they have an executive director who's from the state of Alabama, AHSAA Weekly, who partnered with other states to start flag football, and we were on Coach Savarese and I on a task force, and we just got the call from Atlanta and started the communications, and here we are.
Tell us about the Central Board's involvement with this. Obviously, anything that is going to be approved in the state of Alabama has to go through the Central Board. They approved it, as you said, back in January. So obviously, the Central Board excited about this new sport.
Well, you know, with any sport that's brought about, we have to have a total of 40 schools. And we believe we will have more than 40 schools over the next 2 years to be able to have a sanctioned sport. You know, we would love to, and we hope and we dream that we can have enough schools in every classification to have a state championship in every class, like we're doing football, like we're doing volleyball, like we're doing all our sports. We think it's a great opportunity to have another sport, to give our young people, our young ladies, a chance to participate in another sport. And that's what we're all about, is giving our students another avenue to participate, another avenue to grow as a team sport, and another avenue to show support for their schools and their communities.
Alvin, you mentioned the Atlanta Falcons, you mentioned the NFL being part of this, the program NFL Flag. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, it's like I said, it grew out of the NFL to help streamline the sport of football. Football is one of those sports that we always want to keep growing. We always want to make sure that everything is done the proper way. And this is another way to teach the game of football. It's been part of the youth program for a while. It's been in a lot of our school systems. So this is, again, another chance for the NFL to get involved, and another chance for the state association to have that partnership, because as many partnerships we can have as state associations to help us grow, to help us get the meaning of football out there. That's what we want. We want to be able to do this in all avenues, and that's what this gives us a chance to do.
Obviously, when we think about football, we think about the fall. This will be a fall sport beginning this fall. Again, depending upon the number of schools that sign up and participate in field teams in this. This is, right now, the plan is to make this a part of the Super 7 state championships, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, we want to give them the same exposure we would give anybody, for a state championship. And how many schools we have, and hopefully we're going to have enough that we can culminate at our Super 7 this year, which is going to be in Birmingham at Protective Stadium. So that's another new adventure for us. It's going to be a great atmosphere to be in a new place. We've been in Auburn and Alabama. Now we're going to incorporate Birmingham with the new facility that they're building behind the Sheraton and in Uptown and the Western End there in downtown Birmingham. What a great place to show off and showcase what we believe is going to be another great sport in girls flag football. It's just an opportunity to have them be a part of a state championship.
If teams, and I'm sure there will be a lot of schools around the state lining up to sign up for this and field a team, how can they find out more about the program and how to field a team in girls flag football for this fall?
Well, we're going to have all this up on our website. We're going to have, everything where they can go and declare this sport, because we need to have documentation of all the schools and all the communities, the skill systems that want to be a part of this. So our schools know to go in, and also, contact me here at the office, and we will help them step through all the steps to to be a part of this. It's a great way to grow opportunities for young people to be involved in another sport, and that's what we want. I think Ron Ingram told me on yesterday, if this progresses and does what we think it's going to do, it's going to add a 27 sport to what we already have, which is what we want. We want to give everybody an opportunity. That's what we did with bowling, and bowling is growing, and that's what we want to continue to do.
Alvin, thank you so much for this exciting news. I think folks from the state of Alabama, as big as football is here, they're going to embrace this girls flag football coming this fall to the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Thank you for spending a few moments with us this week to tell us all about this brand new girls sport.
Thank you, John. I mean, again, it's another opportunity. We believe that it's a great opportunity. And I didn't want to say that. Everybody around the country call us a football crazed state. I mean, because of what we have with our great universities here in the state of Alabama and what we've done with football in this state, with all our major colleges, not, our two universities, University of Alabama and Auburn University, but all our universities, and what our high school coaches have done with the sport of football, that it is going to be, I think it's going to be real exciting. And again, it's going to give all those school systems and all those young ladies a chance to be a part of a team sport that I think a lot of them want to be involved in. So thank you for having us on, and thank you for giving me a chance to speak about it tonight.
Alvin, thank you. We'll catch up with you later. Alvin Briggs, the Associate Executive Director for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, joining us on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly. We're going to spend some time now with Kim Kill. She is the principal at Pelham High School in Shelby County, also a member of the AHSAA Central Board of Control representing District 3, and we want to welcome you and glad to have you with us here on the AHSAA Weekly this week. The reason that we're having you here is because your area in Shelby County just a few days ago hit by a devastating tornado. People around the state and around the country have seen videos of this tornado and a lot of the devastation that came through places like Helena and Pelham and crossed I-65 over into the 280 corridor. And so we wanted to spend some time talking about the effects on your school there, because Pelham was one of the areas that was directly affected by this tornado. Glad to have you with us, Kim.
Yes, thank you, John. Glad to be here.
Well, let's first talk about right there in your immediate area around the school, and kind of just give us a synopsis of what happened in the immediate area of the school facility.
Well, thankfully we were on spring break, and so we didn't have any staff or students or, faculty or anybody on campus. So we're very fortunate for that. We had a couple of our neighborhoods that directly were hit, Cross Creek neighborhood, which is right below the school, and Chandelar neighborhood, which is on the other side of our school. So we did see a lot of homes that have had significant damage. And, our school actually had damage, lots of trees, a rooftop type damage on some of our sporting facilities, a lot of fencing. We had I think a total of 32 trees, and these are pines that have probably been there since I've been at Pelham. So that type of stuff is what really hit our school.
Obviously, as an administrator, I guess it's good news and bad news. One, the good news you just pointed out, which was good news for a lot of folks hit around by tornadoes around the state of Alabama, was the fact you did not have students or faculty in school. You're out for spring break, but obviously you're concerned when this is going through your mind and there's a tornado tracking very close to Pelham High School. You're concerned about your facility, and that was a well-founded concern.
Yes, sir. It was one of those things where you're thankful that there's no students and faculty there, but you're thinking now let's brace for what you're going to see when you come back on campus.
One of the things that we've seen around the state of Alabama through the years, this is Tornado Alley. We have a lot of tornadoes that have impacted schools directly and communities directly down through the years. We see the communities come together, and I'm sure the same thing has happened at Pelham High School and in the Pelham community.
Well, yes, sir. The city of Pelham has completely taken the lead on all of the tornado efforts. Our city has been so amazing. They've worked with the local churches. We've had people from our sports teams, our band, our employees, former students all asking how they can help, what they can do. And the city of Pelham wanted an organized, opportunity to be able to help people. And they did just that. And I'm sure that other communities, Alabaster and Chelsea and all of that, have helped in. So we're so very fortunate to be in a place here at Pelham where everybody, it doesn't matter if it's your Pelham or Chelsea or Alabaster, whatever, we're all just helping each other because that's what it's all about.
Well, with the young people coming back into school after spring break, obviously they're wanting to see the damage to their school. They take ownership in the school, but also you had undoubtedly a lot of students that were impacted maybe at their homes and businesses and things like that in the community. So I know they kind of look to you for leadership there and some sense of normalcy returning back from that. Just tell us about the rallying there in the school and helping those students that maybe were impacted directly by the tornado.
Well, our counselors do a fantastic job. They have reached out to all of the families. We've communicated with those that have needed help. We have resources that we've been able to provide for the families. We're there for them. And it's just been a really collaborative effort between the city of Pelham and the high school and our other schools to make sure that our students have everything that they need, that our families have everything they need. And so I'm just so proud of what the city of Pelham has done, taken lead on this entire opportunity to provide relief for our folks.
If folks around the state that are watching on the AHSAA Weekly, if they feel led to help out in some way, they want to contribute to the recovery in Shelby County and the Pelham area specifically, how would they contact maybe you, for instance, to find out some needs you may have with some folks there in your community?
Well, absolutely. They can always contact me at Pelham High School, 205-624-3701. We are working still very closely with the city of Pelham to coordinate all the efforts. And, we've just had an outpouring of people asking, what they can do. And sometimes, that happens when things first happen. You have so many people wanting to help. We still have those people wanting to help even later on, now that things have kind of seem to have died down, not died down for the people that have had the devastation, from the tornado, but we are still getting a lot of calls, and we're directing everyone to be coordinated with the city of Pelham.
Well, thank you so much for the leadership that you have shown to Pelham High School and in the greater Pelham community, of course. In all communities in the state of Alabama, we see the high schools are kind of the epicenter of the communities, and they look to the leaders of the high school. And you've done a great job providing leadership there in Pelham. And certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to all the folks in Pelham and the surrounding areas of Shelby County for what you've gone through. And just thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us here on the AHSAA Weekly to tell us and update us with what is going on there in Pelham and Shelby County.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate the opportunity.
Kim Kill is the principal at Pelham High School, our guest this week on the AHSAA Weekly. Also this week on the AHSAA Weekly, we've got some special video presentations of Wilson Ball grants in volleyball, presented to Anna Adams of Rohama Junior High School and also of Terry Goodson of Arrowton High School in Southeast Alabama.
This means that we're going to be able to give our kids an opportunity to play a sport that they haven't been given to in years. Last year was our first year, so we get to do it again this year. We had started out with nothing. So this gives a lot for our program and for our students. It's just going to allow me to give my players time on the floor. Like last year we started out with very limited volleyball, so there was a very limited of what we could do inside the gym. So with having more volleyballs, and it gives us more of an opportunity to go through more of a team stuff versus just here's one volleyball, we got to do this, and then here's one, we got to go over here. I can have stations set up with more volleyballs. The biggest challenge is that they've just not seen volleyball a lot. So that's a fun thing too, because I get to introduce them to it, and they just like it because it's new. They've never been able to do it before, never seen volleyball, so they just enjoy being out on the court.
First off, we would just like to say thank you, because this year with the COVID situation, it's been hard to raise money, and we feel like our program and the volleyball program throughout the state has got bigger and bigger each year, and it's just a joy to be in the volleyball right now. And with this grant that we received, we're able to get these balls, and with us having the COVID situation, our fundraising has really went down, so it has really helped. We appreciate the Alabama High School Athletics Association and Wilson. But I think the volleyball to me has got real exciting, and we have an area that's really tough. to play in, and the volleyball around our area is really competitive, and the girls, I believe, just really have got to enjoy the volleyball a lot. Anytime that we can get the balls and all, because we have to have uniforms or anything like that, and you know how much uniforms cost, but anytime that we can get the balls or anything, it helps our program tremendously.
It's time for the 13th Annual Sylacauga Magic of Marble Festival, April 6th through the 17th. See sculptures from around the nation at Central Park. Take part in the Marble Scavenger Hunt beginning March 29th. Explore the B.B. Coleman Memorial Library Marble Room and Sales Room. For more information, go to magicofmarblefestival.com or call 256-249-0961. Experience the Magic of Marble April 6th through April 17th.
Wrapping up this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly with David Holtzford's highlights. David Holtzford, the Alabama High School Athletic Association, providing us with highlights of spring sports from around the state of Alabama. And we're going to begin in boys soccer. It's Hartselle and Brewer. This is on the soccer field in Summerville, where Hartselle traveled in to face AP Brewer last week. This one was all Tigers, as Hartselle High School's Keegan Zanda scored 6 goals to propel the Tigers to an 8-0 win. As you can see, he was fast and furious, scoring from all angles. The University of Mobile signee has 13 hat tricks on the season and scored a total of 50 goals so far this season. Hartselle a big winner over AP Brewer in Summerville by a score of 8-0 in boys soccer play. Outstanding effort there by Keegan Zanda of Hartselle High School up in Morgan County in this big boys soccer match in Morgan County at Summerville. Now it's baseball. Elmore County and Eclectic, 2 rivals clashing on the baseball diamond. Elmore County taking on Holtville. We pick the action up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Visiting Panthers leading 4-1. Ethan Alston drives in a run with his hard grounder to second base to cut the margin to 4-2. Alston comes to the plate in the 6th inning on a pass ball, gets by the catcher, and Holtville cuts the lead to 4-3. Holtville made the most of its last at bat in the bottom of the 7th, still trailing by a run. Randall Davis draws a bases-loaded walk to tie the game at 4-4. Michael Forney then steps into the batter's box, and a wild pitch sends another Sam Silas to the plate from the 3rd for the winning run, and a 5-4 Holtville victory as Holtville beats Elmore County 5-4 in that big rival game down at Holtville. Also, girls soccer, Vestavia Hills and James Clemens. A big 7A girls soccer match at Vestavia's Thompson Reynolds Stadium, Buddy Anderson Field. The Lady Rebels, who won the 2019 state title, taking on James Clemens from Madison. Both teams bowed to a scoreless tie in the opening half. Coach Bridget Littleton's squad comes out strong in the second half, putting 4 goals in the net for a 4-0 win. The goals captured here by the Vestavia Hills High School NFHS Network School broadcast crew were scored in order by Anna Towery, Sarah Francis Gilroy, Susie Woodruff, and Ella Denton. Vestavia is the defending 7A state champion since last year's season. Now Piedmont High School hosting Ohatchee last week in a softball doubleheader, with the proceeds going to help the Ohatchee community move forward from the devastating tornado that ripped its community in late March. We pick up the first game in the 1st inning. Piedmont's Reese Franklin legging out an infield hit to drive in a run. In the top of the 2nd inning, Ohatchee's Tabitha Davidson drives in a run to tie the game at 1-1. And then Franklin comes up to the plate again in the bottom of the inning and rips a bases-loaded triple to give the Bulldogs a 6-1 lead. Piedmont and Ohatchee, 2 Calhoun County rivals, battling out up at Piedmont in northern Calhoun County as we see those runs being scored by the Lady Bulldogs. We move to the 3rd inning with this hit by Indians batter Abby Whitehead to cut the lead to 6-5. But Piedmont's hitters were too hot, however. Zahala Walker going to slug a 2-out triple to drive in 2 more runs, and the Bulldogs are going to win this first game 11-8. Big crowd up at Piedmont to watch this Piedmont and Ohatchee game to benefit the tornado victims from Ohatchee earlier in the week. In game number 2, Piedmont continued to roll, scoring its first 2 runs on a throwing error on the way to a 10-0 win. However, both teams were winners on this day with sportsmanship at its finest. More than $1,400 raised to help the Ohatchee Tornado Relief Fund. As you see, the doubleheader going well into the evening as well at the Piedmont softball field up in Piedmont. Piedmont and OHSAA playing each other and raising $1,400 to help the victims of the devastating tornado from a couple of weeks ago. And the two schools also played baseball the same day, also at Piedmont, with all the funds raised at the gate going to the OHSAA Tornado Relief Fund as well. At the baseball contest, the first two pitches were thrown by two OHSAA student athletes. Justin Powell ripped a line drive down the right field line to drive in a run, giving OHSAA a 1-0 early lead. Piedmont answered with Jack Hayes doubling to left field to plate teammate Noah Reedy for the Piedmont Bulldogs. But OHSAA seals a 2-1 win when Justin Powell singles in the winning run in the fifth inning. The game again highlighted just how much the communities throughout Calhoun County care for each other and are ready to help whenever they can, raising some great money for the OHSAA Tornado Relief Fund in both baseball and in softball. Finally, baseball, Helena at Pelham. Helena making the short drive to Pelham, sealing a 6-3 win with this dramatic play. McGuire Turner comes up to the plate in the fourth inning with the bases loaded and delivers a grand slam over the left field fence to give the Helena Huskies the win 6-3 over their rivals, the next door neighbors, the Pelham Panthers. What a great game there, and a great way to end the game with Helena beating Pelham by a score of 6-3. And finally this week, the Alabama High School Athletic Association saddened to learn of the death of legendary coach Glenn Daniel, 95 years old, passed away on Saturday, April the 3rd. AHSAA Executive Director Steve Savarese described Daniel as a generational coach. Daniel coached at Luverne for 38 years. He became the first football coach in Alabama to win 300 games, finishing his 46-year coaching career with a 302, 169, and 16 overall coaching record. He was a charter member inducted into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame inaugural class in 1991. Also inducted into the National High School Sports Hall of Fame in 1999, the first of only two Alabama high school football coaches to receive that honor, along with Buddy Anderson. Always a leader, always a gentleman. His spirit will live on, but his presence will be sorely missed. Our condolences going out to all the folks in Luverne on the loss of legendary coach Glenn Daniel. And that will wrap up this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. We'll see you right back here next week.